So, Jarryd, I've been really looking forward to having a chat with you. Thanks so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Mate, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I guess we usually kick off with a bit of background on your family. So yeah, just sort of tell us about your family.
Yeah, cool. I'm a father to three gorgeous little nuggets, and a husband to a equally gorgeous wife. Her name is Jess. She's a South African born lady who came over here in 2000. We met in, I want to say 2009, 2010.
Mm.
Um, Got married shortly after, just a beautiful romantic story. And then we had Jordan, our firstborn daughter, in 2016. So she's now a bit over five. We had Josie in 2018,
Yeah.
and then Jackson in 2020.
Mm.
So a family of JBs. We've gone with the Kardashian style kind of naming strategy, just for social clout and all those fun things. But yeah, they're a handful. We're right in the thick of it. Hence why my eyes probably look the way they do. But no, we're having a lot of fun, mate. It's an amazing thing to be a father and a husband. So very blessed.
Awesome, awesome. And I know you might have struggled to get out and about recently with what's going on in Victoria. But what are the some of the what are some of the things you're allowed to? When you're allowed to do it that you like to do as a family together?
Yeah, we love spending time together. Obviously, during the week is hard just with work hours and whatnot. But yeah, come the weekend, we really try to
Mm.
spend as much time together as possible. Whether it's out and about, we love going to anything nature that has nature in it. So whether it be a
Mm.
farm or we've got these cool little farms down eastern suburbs of Melbourne.
Oh.
The zoo, wherever we can go and see some animals. The kids all love their animals, and little Jackson will see birds from a mile away and just start flapping his little wings around. And yeah, they love anything nature. They love, well, they've recently started loving chocolate thick shakes from McDonald's,
Oh.
which are a little naughty treat for them. But yeah, they smash them down like there's no tomorrow. And just anything family related, extended family, we love getting
Mm.
around them. Um, Family is very important to us, and but potentially from Jess's side of things, when the
Mm.
family all immigrated over here 20 years ago, I think that made them even tighter again. So yeah, we just love getting around my side of the family, Jess's side of the family,
Mm.
seeing people and just hanging out with each other.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. And I know we're kind of getting pretty deep on the family stuff pretty quickly, but
Good.
yeah, like I've only got two children. You've got three, and one of the
Yes.
tricky things is actually getting some time with Stevie and having,
Mm,
I guess, us time. But
yeah.
do you have any kind of rhythms or things you do with Jess to sort of protect your relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely easier. What's funny, right? It was probably easier when lockdowns weren't a thing. To Which is weird because now we're locked down. Like you would think that it's probably easier now
Mm.
when you're just with each other 24/7. But strangely, it was probably easier back then where you could really, I guess, be intentional about, say, a date night and go,
Mm.
right, tonight we're going dinner and a movie and really just hang out with each other and phones down, TVs off, and really just enjoy being with each other. At the moment, it's kind of like it's just all over the place. It's like stuck in the house, can't go
Yeah.
anywhere, no shops are open. So you're with each other all the time, but that intentionality around, okay, now we're phones down, TV off, we're going to sit down and have a nice meal together.
Mm.
Um, it's tougher to
Mm.
organize. We do little things. We love working out. We've got an awesome little gym in our garage. So
Awesome.
Saturday mornings is always a big JB session in the garage in the gym, and a
With
big
the
sweat
kids?
sesh. Well, it's funny. They love coming in,
Yeah.
which is awesome and not so awesome. So they it's funny. Jordan, our eldest, She comes in a little crop top and little shorts and starts trying to work out with us and doing a little jump squats and push-ups. And we love it just because exercise and health and fitness is so important to us. It's nice to introduce the kids to that early on. But after a while, it normally ends in tears when someone hits their head on a weight or something. It is good fun. It's train them young, and I hope they stay in those ways for the rest of their life.
That's it. And actually, I've noticed on a couple of posts you made that you're fairly into martial arts. I think both you and Jess, is that right?
Yes, you do not want to mess with Jess.
Oh,
that is for sure. She's a fifth Dan black belt in karate. So she's been doing karate since she was 5 years old. So
wow.
20, actually, I won't give away her age, but she's been doing it for over 20 years.
So at least 25.
At least 25. And then her whole heritage. So her dad and her grandfather and a lot of the uncles and brothers and sisters, all awesome in karate. Wow. So yeah, not a family you want to cross. I dabbled a little bit in karate. Got my blue belt under Keith, Jess's dad, a few years back, and then with family just got super hard to both be able to train. So Jess does karate. I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've been doing that for about probably 7 or 8 years now, and absolutely love that. That's the that's my go-to in the martial arts scene.
Yep, and that's a little bit more grapply than karate, is that right?
Yeah, a lot more groundwork. So if you want to standing up fighting with Jess, not a good idea. I'm much more a groundwork kind of guy. So wrestling, try and break someone's arm or choke them out. That's kind of my that's what I like to do. But it's such a nice martial arts to do when the world is chaotic and business is stressful. There is literally nothing else you can have on your mind when you go into the gym and do jiu-jitsu. Like if you're worried about the formula I inputted into my Excel spreadsheet, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble when someone's trying to take your head off. So it's nice just to be able to clear the mind and use that as a tool just to be in the moment and just free from the craziness of life. So it's been super helpful mentally for me over the years.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for that share.
Yes. Get
cool.
into it, Benny.
Yeah, I've got actually quite a few people who also do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. So and I've seen near the butcher we go to, they've got like a kids one as well on the weekends. Oh, nice. So it's packed on a Saturday morning.
Get the little ones in there. Yeah, nothing better.
Rose at 3 years old, just going around,
rolling around.
I don't think she needs any more encouragement to be rough, but anyway.
That's good.
But we might have transition into chatting about your, I guess your career and what you've done professionally. But I think I started following your journey when you were at Thankyou, maybe in about 2015. That's I think we flew down and
helped pack some books.
Yeah, we were packing the books in that factory. So that's when we sort of first connected. But did you? I mean, it's a pretty broad and maybe a bit of a long story, but we do have the time if you're keen to share. Did you kind of walk us through your journey?
So we kicked off Thankyou back in 2008, which just feels like a lifetime ago now. So 2008 was funny. I was always kind of interested in business and entrepreneurship and always liked the idea of helping people and charitable giving and trying to help those less fortunate than I. And so when Dan Flynn came to me with the idea of creating a product, Thankyou Water back in the day, and then giving 100% of the profits to aid and development programs around the world, immediately I was like, I'm in. I love the idea. So Dan and I had always been quite close through school. We had been to school together. I think we met maybe in prep or year one. Dan then went to a different school, and then he came back in high school. And it was funny. We were competitors at school in what was probably my first business venture, selling Coke cans out of the locker. And I had my little locker, Coke, Fanta, Sprite, the whole portfolio. Dan had his locker, trying to undercut me, the dirty dog. And so yeah, we had a bit of fun there, and it was a good little taste tester into the world of business and just the dirty underhanded tricks that competitors can play. And I remember one day Dan got a letter from the canteen telling him to stop trading, which I'm not too sure who tipped him off, but I then had the market again, which was I was quite happy with. I'm not going to lie. So that was good fun. And then post school, we then started another little business together called Curb Print Solutions, where we would paint street numbers on the curbs of houses. You know, when you're driving down the street and you can see like number 13 on the curb. We tried to do that for a little while. Didn't go too well. Sold 3 in total. So one to my parents, one to Dan's parents, and then one to a lady in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. So that didn't go too well. But then Dan came into me with the idea of Thankyou, and that idea really stuck. So yeah, wanted to help, and then also wanted to be able to, I guess, utilize some ideas and skills and things which I think we're just inherently in all three of us, for the greater good. So that was 2008, and yeah, kicked it off then.
And you took on some of Australia's or even the world's biggest companies, yeah. In terms of
and why not? Let's take on Coca-Cola. That's easy. So it was it was a battle. I think the first 3 years was just full-time volunteer. No retailers would take us on. We had commitments, and then they would renege on them. Really hard, just out there at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning with sales reps from distributors saying, please come on, little milk bar, will you please stock Thankyou water? So yeah, it took a long time to build some momentum. And about the 3-year mark, we won a deal with 7-Eleven, which was awesome. So that was kind of the big moment to kick us onto the scene, and a really pivotal moment in history.
Really cool. And so would you be able to tell us more about the role that you played at Thankyou? Maybe not in those early couple of years when you might have been working stuff out, but as it grew, what sort of angle did you look after? Because that might give us a bit more context to what you do now, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're right. It was early days. It was literally just everyone's doing a little bit of everything, and everyone's got their fingers in all the different pies. So pretty quickly, though, I realized that I was probably stronger suited in areas of finance and operational type stuff. So a little more behind the scenes than the other two founders, which I kind of liked. Like I'm not a time teller. I'm more of a clock builder, which if Dan is listening to this, he would love that. I used to throw that in him all the time. You just always tell the time I build the clock, which is a joke. It's a big joke. Dan does a lot of building too. So yeah, a lot more behind the scenes, supply chain marketing, supply chain and finance. I would be the one, meeting with the different suppliers, production runs, forecasting, and then I taught myself how to do bookkeeping, albeit I know you've looked at our books, not very well, but I fumble my way through it. So yeah, I'd handle all the books. We used to use MyOb back in the day. That's showing my age. So yeah, that was kind of my jam. I was always reasonably good with money from an early age. I think my parents really instilled some good values and qualities and respect of money back when I was a youngster. So it just kind of came naturally to me, and it was a really important aspect of Thankyou. So obviously we'd set out to 100% of profit. We'll fund aid and development programs. Very easily, any business person we'll bet this, you can very quickly not make any profit for the first 3 or 4, maybe 5 years of existence. It all just keeps getting reinvested back into the business, and maybe in year 6 you declare a profit, and everyone claps for you because that's kind of normal. But for us, it was super important that from day dot we were actually giving money to these programs to build up trust, because this is how and why we exist, to fund these programs. Like personally, we wanted to do that. So yeah, it was important to, I guess, get those foundations set really early on, separate money out. I remember my accounts were so amateur back in the day, but I would have different bank accounts set up, and then I get paid from one person would section off a portion of those profits to make sure that money got protected, and would only spend this. And very amateur, but very basic principles, which enabled us to give from day dot, and build quite a successful company to what it is today, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I guess you had kids somewhere in that Thankyou journey, yeah?
I did, mate. I did. It. What would it have been? Year 7, year 8 mark.
Yeah.
So just in the thick of it. So after 7-Eleven, we won that deal. 2 years after that, we then won Coles and Woolworths, and we branched out into muesli bar, mueslis, clusters, body care, a whole suite of body care products, to what Thankyou really focuses on these days. Still had the water products selling. So it was busy. It was just the perfect time to have children. Super busy. So that was year 8 mark, and a bit of a juggling act to make sure that was working well. Took a bit of prioritizing and reshuffling the diary and whatnot. That's for sure.
Yeah, yep. And I just remember the first probably 6 months of our first child's life was took the most adjustment, when you realize, this is a bit different.
But it also like helps prioritize what's actually important in life, doesn't it? Like I remember I went to the doctor once for, I think I needed some sleep tablets or something, and just like melatonin, like some pretty basic stuff. And the doctor was like, well, why aren't you sleeping? I was like, well, I have a stressful job, and I've just really struggled to turn the mind off. And he's like, well, what happens if you don't write back to the email? He's like, does someone die? And I'm like, well, no, not really. And it was at that moment, it was just kind of like this light bulb moment. I'm like, oh, you know what? I probably could turn the emails off before 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Like that isn't important anymore. Like I can just start to reshuffle and reprioritize, and nothing does that more than when children come along, and you realize you're existing for a very different purpose now, and raise them as best you can.
That's really, really cool. And so in terms of the Thankyou journey, like roughly when did you transition into what you're doing now?
I got to about the 10-year mark. So 10 years, got my long service leave, and just ran out the door.
I doubt it.
Joking. I got to 10 years and 1 month. And it was a decision which I'd been kind of grappling with for probably a good 12 months, I reckon. We had this really weird situation in our life personally, where we got broke. Our house got broken into when we went on a holiday. We're up in Noosa, and got a phone call from the cops the second day we're up there saying someone's broken into your house, which was annoying. So flew home after the holiday, and then like mentally I started kind of not having a breakdown, but like struggling a little bit with anxiety, and just stress started like really bugging me out. We ended up moving house to a different house just because I couldn't stay there, or we couldn't stay there anymore, just knowing that they're going to come back. What's all these noises out there? So we moved to a different place, and then we're in that place in Chadstone in Victoria, for about 4 months, and then came home from a day at the beach, and
Oh.
the garage door wouldn't open, which was weird. So Jess went inside to see what was going on, and just thick smoke throughout the whole house.
Oh, no.
So called the fire brigade, and the switchboard in the garage had gone up and just filled the place with smoke. And so just because of smoke damage, like they caught it before the house went up, but because of smoke damage, we lost everything. So everything had to go in the bin, had to move out. This is when Jess was about 30 weeks pregnant, 25 weeks pregnant with our second child. So we lived with Jess's parents for 2 months, which was, they were awesome. So that wasn't a problem, but it was just a lot going on.
Mm.
And then trying to find a place, and then setting up the new place. Jess is 2 weeks away from giving birth.
Mm.
It's like just so much stuff going on. And then stuff at Thankyou was also changing quite significantly in terms of structure and different processes and systems coming in. Like the company itself had gone from, where we started it, the three of us, back, 10 years earlier, with not many processes or systems or structure, to, having 50 employees, 50 products, turning, many millions of dollars a year. And so it needed that. It needed structure and systems and processes, but then roles would start shifting and the responsibilities would change. And there was a lot of change, like specifically in my area, my role. So we had like all the personal stuff going on, and then all the stuff in Thankyou going on. And like mentally, I wasn't in a great space already. So yeah, there was a lot of things kind of just bubbling away. So I took a few months off just to try and repair the brain and get myself back into somewhat of a functional state. And then I think once I got back into the office post that, I knew that it was time to hang the boots up, so to speak, and look in a different area, a different direction, which was, it was a tough decision to make after 10 years of growing something, but a necessary one for my own health and for the well-being of my family, and being able to be the best dad and husband I could be.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's I guess the best reason. Actually, while we were there on a trip, I think we visited at one stage, and I can't remember whether it was you or Dan who was walking us through that thank you circle that you did. But
yes,
but we implemented that soon after we got back, and
cool.
We still do them every Friday morning.
There you go.
They're the best. They're absolute
best.
That's
awesome, man. Yeah, it's nice to be able to honor people, and for context for everyone listening and watching, on a Friday afternoon, we would all kind of gather on the top level of the office and just thank people for what they'd done during the week, what we had noticed, from little things like thanks for taking the bin out to like congratulations, you won a huge deal with Coles. So it was like everything in between, and just really set a nice culture of honor. And we used to love like kind of the family vibes that we had in the Thankyou office, and a lot of respect, a lot of love, and might sound weird to some business people, but it was something which helped us build a lot of trust with each other. And we found that when you had trust with each other, you could go faster, you could run harder, because you knew that, person over here or person over here, they're not trying to undercut me, they're not trying to climb the ladder above me. Like it's just trust. Everyone trusts, everyone loves. Like it's cool. Let's just run our own race in our own lane, and let's just make as much impact as possible. So it was a nice little thing which we had going on. It's cool to hear you guys doing it as well.
No, we as I said, every Friday morning, and I think sometimes we spend a good hour and a half, depending on what. Sometimes we've got to cut it short, but it goes for a while.
Gosh,
and it's
a lot of good things happening.
Yeah, it was such an important part of our week, and then we do them quarterly on our retreats.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and you get people in tears. It's awesome.
Yes, love making people cry. So good.
Wow. Yeah. It's fantastic. That was a huge thing we implemented. So thank you.
That's
Um,
great. Hey, man, and thank you to you guys. You guys showed a lot of support, and yeah, to us personally, and to the business. So yeah, we're forever grateful for the Inspire team.
Thank you. And so maybe for in terms of the audience listening, so people sort of growing small businesses, when you went from, let's say, 3 people at Thankyou to 50,
Yeah.
that's a
Yes.
huge transition. In fact, I don't know whether I'd call that small business anymore.
Yeah,
but
grew some
but
legs.
what were some of the biggest things that made like, I guess, the most amount of impact on the business's growth? Like, if there was maybe 1, 2, or 3 key things that you can remember throughout the journey made the biggest impact.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was well, it's funny. It's like businesses go in such kind of ebbs and flows, and just the roller coaster ride of Thankyou. Like we went from, having a team of kind of say generalists. I have a bit of a lisp, which makes that word hard to say. Where everyone could kind of do a bit of everything, to then, next minute, next season, now we need some more specialists in the building. So we would hire those people in, and kind of ebbed and flowed to that. And so we created a really strong kind of unit where we would have, some grocery specialists, some product marketing specialists, some innovation specialists, but then supported as well by some really strong generalists who could just get in and get it done. So the structuring of teams was very important, enabling us to keep running hard, keep pushing hard, but bring in the necessary kind of skills and expertise to the building. For us, I think what really set us apart in Thankyou, and it might be helpful for certain businesses out there, was we really valued a culture of innovation and a culture of new product development. I remember being on a panel with the founder of Messina, the delicious ice cream business, and he said, if you don't innovate, you die. So for us, that was what we embraced as well, was if you weren't innovating and bringing new products to market and furthering the business and taking more market share, then someone else is going to. So we really resourced up that section of the business, and I think that's applicable in a lot of different industries, even in service-based industries. What product are you selling? Like, what is your product? Whether it be brainstorming workshops in product development, or like what is it, and how do you keep growing that and really kind of honing in on that that kind of secret source that only you guys can do, or whatnot. So those were some things which we really started to see the value of, and really resourced up and put some importance on.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think, as you said, even in a service business, I think both those things, so structuring teams, I can definitely see the relevance of that as we've grown, and having both the general and the specialist. That's a really cool way to look at it. And then, innovation. Yeah, that's just a non-negotiable, especially at the moment. Geez.
Yes. Yeah, man. And people are moving so quick these days. I think when we were around early days, like it was really dominated by, your Palmolives, your Coca-Colas. Like, these guys will take 12 to 24 months to innovate, to bring something new to market. Like, that's just how they like their cycles. So we had a real kind of point of difference, like an advantage there. We used to have this quote on the walls: "It's not the big that eat the small, it's the fast that eat the slow." So we would pride ourselves on being faster than they could be, regardless of their big budgets and all the money they had to launch stuff. So that was probably 10 years ago. But these days, there's a lot more kind of smaller players entering the market. So you've got to innovate even quicker than you ever had. Just otherwise you'll get eaten up, and the market will spit you out, because the market's always looking for what's new, what's trendy, what's cool. So
yeah, and just a bit of a random thought or question. I have this perception that the Coca-Colas or the Palmolives, those big companies, are almost like a mafia style thing. Do they just do sort of bullying-ish tactics with the way they do business, or is it, do they give you phone calls and threaten your personal safety?
We used to get these people come up on our front doorstep with sledgehammers, and no, I'm joking. Yeah, I think they definitely do some stuff behind doors. That's for sure. We used to hear from a couple of different retail partners that, company A, they're not just giving extra margin to reduce shelf space, but they're wanting you to be removed from store completely. So they were getting some very interesting offers thrown their way, to not just shrink our shelf space, but just get us completely chocked.
Wow.
We heard other stories that once you got to this magic number of, I think, 10% market share, that a whole new realm of money would get poured into the multinational from, say, head office.
Yeah.
And just money that the national team probably didn't even know they had, just gets poured in on top, and they'll just get told, promote, get rid of these guys, get that market share back. Like they're very strong, and they have very deep pockets. We probably didn't realize that would happen as strong as it did to, in some of the categories that we played in, where we were doing really, really well. And then all of a sudden promotions get turned on, prices get dropped, and they literally just force market share back their way. So
yeah, and it sounds like they'd almost like cut an arm off to save themselves, so to speak, or like make a loss for a sustained period of time. Just wow.
Yeah, it's full on. The games they play, they're powerful. They're powerful animals.
There you go. No, really cool. And I've noticed, so from Thankyou, you've we can probably speak about both of these, but you've created another product business and a service business. So did you want to cover the product one first?
Yeah, we're having a bit of a dabble. So the product one is called Narrative Lab Fragrances. So it's a high-end, no nasties perfume brand. So we came up with the idea. We're in Hong Kong. It must have been about 2.5 years ago, when you could actually travel. And we were at a big cosmetics expo, Joel, Nicole, and myself, who also worked at Thankyou. So we all kind of finished up at a similar time and then joined forces. So we're all over this cosmetics expo, and we were looking just for some innovative products. We love products. We knew products coming from Thankyou, and we wanted to see what we could, bring to market. So we didn't really find much at the Cosmetics Expo, which was a bit disappointing. But while we were over there, we started analyzing, what are some products that we use in our everyday life that we love, that we could innovate on, that haven't had much happen to their industries in a long time. And we like the idea of perfume and aftershave, and we all wear it. But we hated the over sexualization of the marketing and how terribly made the products are. Like they're just full of alcohol and parabens, phthalates, and like just a lot of nasty stuff in there, made super dirt cheap, and then sexually advertised for no reason. Like these really inspirational lives that we should all aspire to. We thought maybe we can do this better and differently. So we came up with the idea. It's all, plant-based oils. It's a solid fragrance range, and then a perfume oil range, and really beautiful smells. And then the naming strategy also, we put a bit of thought into, and we tried to make it as aspirational and encouraging as possible. So some of our names are, Fearless, Crushing It, Awaken, Rose Above, Renew, like these kind of different mindsets where you put on Crushing It for the day, or before you step into the board meeting, and you go, I'm really kind of putting on that mindset, and I'm going to go and crush this thing. So we we love that. I think because we had all come from different backgrounds where we had all had, different things spoken over us in work and social lives, and almost like put in boxes over here. And we don't like that. I don't like getting told, you can't do this. You're only good enough to do this. And so, we wanted to give people a tool to feel empowered. And you know what? I'm fearless today. I'm putting on my fearless, and off I go to do this complicated task. So that's Narrative Labs. So at the moment, we're for sale on our website, narrativelab.co. We're trying to get into different wholesalers and retailers around the country and around the world, and that's been a really fun kind of creative outlet type product. Kept our juices flowing, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of passion. So we're about two years into that, and we've got some new products coming out in the next couple of months, which will be fun, and hopefully a really strong run into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas. So hopefully finish the year strong.
Yeah, very cool. And awesome branding, by the way. It's nice and clean, and probably like the products themselves.
Nicole's done an amazing job of all the marketing and the comms and the branding and everything. We're super proud of it. It's a nice product.
Yeah, very good. All righty. And so what about the consulting that you're doing now? So tell us a bit about how that came to be, and we set up Black Ops Consulting, which is a bit of a fun name. So our idea was almost like a Black Ops military team. I love military and war movies and that type of stuff, and I love SEAL teams. And the idea was around, we can come in, we'll execute your mission, we'll get out. So it's a bit of a muck around in that, but it's stuck, and it's going really well. So we specialize in like the sales, marketing, new product development, supply chain type areas of business, mainly consumer products type businesses, ranging from startups. We work with a few startups at the moment to really well established players who just need some fresh thinking to come in. And Nicole and Joel are amazing at just what's the new trend happening in personal care space, or in clean beauty, or whatever it is, and spotting trends, and then helping companies to identify how can we wrap our label on that and bring it to market. It's a range from, I guess, just strategic type ideas to then executional type work as well. So we'll get in there, we'll manage the factory transition, or the whole new product development from conception to commercialization. So it came about, like, obviously Narrative was kind of the initial baby or pipe dream. Like, we wanted to get Narrative off the ground. Didn't pay too well, still doesn't. So we knew we had to get money through different means. So we set up the consulting. We love helping people. We get a real buzz out of solving problems for people, helping mum and dad type businesses get ready for a sale or whatever, and making a real difference in people's lives. Like, we absolutely love that. So it's been a nice we're super happy at the moment. It's nice. We've got a nice combination of consulting and then narratives. Our creative outlets are all being met, and we're adding value to people as well, which is it's a nice feeling. Yeah, no, that's cool. And do you see yourself going into any, like, what sort of industries do you work with Black Ops?
It's mainly consumer products.
Yep.
Type businesses. So we've got a range of clients, personal care space, drink space, kind of like the non-alcoholic trend is really starting to take off. And we're helping a couple of different companies with that. And then even just some bigger projects around, insolvency, acquisition, that type of thing as well. So it's a whole big range. It all seems to come back into consumer products though. we're not, helping, energy companies or anything like that. Like our sweet spot, I think, just from what we cut our teeth in at Thankyou, we know the market really well. And Joel and Nicole, just with their expertise, it's been awesome. It's been very, very humbling to help a lot of people and add some value along the way. So it's good fun.
Yeah,
Black Ops, baby.
That's awesome. All righty. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I think we've covered a lot, and appreciate you being so transparent about your sort of family journey, and also your time at Thankyou and now Narrative Labs and Black Ops. We really appreciate you.
You're welcome, mate. And thank you for as I said before, thank you for all your support along the journey, and we learn a lot from what you're doing at the team with the team at Inspire, and it'll sound corny, but it's inspiring. So thank you for all you're doing too.
No worries. The least we could do, mate. That's all good. And then if people want to sort of follow what you're doing, I think we spoke about jumping on Instagram and having a look at the Narrative Lab Insta page.
Jump on there. I think the handle's Narrative Lab Fragrance, and then Black Ops is Black Ops Consulting. You can search for me. I'm on private, and I post about one photo every 3 months. So probably not the most interesting person to follow, but feel free to.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, mate. Really enjoyed working with you, and great to have met you all those years ago. So.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Jarryd.